Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. I don't know, maybe it was the final countdown or something else. Some folks were triggered. But I'm gonna come here into Acts chapter 10. Yeah, I'm coming into Acts. Oh boy. And I'm gonna start here. Acts chapter 10 and 39. And we are witnesses of all things which he did, both in the land of the Jews, the Yahudah, and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hung on a tree. I'm pretty sure that when we see this text, I'm pretty sure that there were some additions to that passage. But I'm going to keep reading. Him, Yahudah raised up the third day and shewed him openly, not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of Yah, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of Yah to be the judge of quick and dead, to give to him give all the prophets witness that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive omission of sins. While Peter yet spoke these words, the Ruach HaKodesh fell on all them which heard the word, and they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. Oh no, say it isn't so. How do they have the Holy Ghost or the Ruach HaKodesh. For they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Yahudah. Then answered Peter, can any man forbid water that these should not be baptized which have received the Ruach HaKodesh as well as we? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of Yahuwah. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days. So that's Acts chapter 10, verses 39 through 48. They received the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. Does that mean then that they received the thrones, that they received the priesthood, that they received the scepter? And I understand why our people get triggered over that. But understand that the Most High's word is not going to be mocked because of some people's feelings. That's just how it goes. You can unsubscribe from the channel. You can say what you want to say. But at the end of the day, it's not me that you have a problem with. Now, Gentiles, guess what? There's a different position. Because the word literally says you have two choices in the matter. This isn't here to be a black supremacy or anything else. That's not the case. Brother Garth, I'm going to send the link out. I want us to discuss that three body problem. And then I had to come into here because hallelujah. I'm coming in here to Isaiah 14 and 1. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And set them in their own land. Why? Because we are outside of our land. Man, this is a trigger point. I'm telling you, these are some trigger scriptures for some of our people. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Why are they cleaving to the house of Jacob? Because they know that they had been lied to. Why is that? Because when they fled from place to place, we just saw this with these cars yesterday. when the world starts to look like present day Kharkiv, early April Kharkiv, where they're trying to utilize all lanes of traffic to get out of the city. Why are they getting out of the city? Oh, they're getting on out, not just because, internet shut off, electricity shut off. They don't have access to Netflix to see the three body problem. Oh boy. That's why they're trying to run the Kharkiv. They're trying to make or run out of Kharkiv. They're trying to get on over to Kiev so they can finish watching the three body problem. But why are they why is the stranger cleaving on? Because I believe this. This is my personal opinion. This is what I can deduce from reading Acts chapter 10. Look, there are Gentiles that do operate in the Ruach HaKodesh. They operate. Now, whether they want to be obedient, that's a different story. It's a different story. It's a different story in terms of what you had experienced with this awakening. Look, we had our awakening moments, and now they're going through theirs. Shout out to Sister Chantel. We had talked about that yesterday. And because they had their awakening experience, and are having their awakening experience, now they're going crazy. That awakening experience is causing them to go wild. And the sad thing is that the whole world can see what they are up against. And boy, oh boy, they're up against some tremendous challenges. They have to deny things, but they can yell at Putin, but they can't say anything about the Pope and who he's praying to. The Black Madonna and Child. Come on. They want us to deny what's in front of our eyes. Because why? Because it's the reprogramming of the masses going on in a spiritual manner. Why? Oh man, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna discuss this because the Most High, he shook me this morning. I'm like, Father, why did you get me up so early? And I said, yeah, I get it now. Hallelujah. Garth, I have that in the board chat if you want to come up. Live from London, our UK correspondent that helps to straighten up my bad London accent coming from your end. Go ahead, Sister Chantel.
Shalom, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I pray that the day finds you well, and that the Holy Spirit is resting upon you and giving you peace,
Let me,
because
Sister
we
Chantel,
need
let
it.
me let me go ahead. I want to finish up this scripture because this is, you know, understand this is what the word says. Here it is. It's
Mhm.
Isaiah 14, chapter 2. This is what they hate. This is what scares them. I would say the top scariest scriptures for them is Joel chapter 3,
Mhm.
Obadiah, and Isaiah 14. And here is this Isaiah 14 and 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Who did it say? The children of Israel? No, the people. Did it say that the Israelites are just gonna come and go into the place? No, the people. This is what they're afraid of. To me, this is the UN.
People.
This is the UN controversy. To me, this is the UN controversy. How do you explain it? Oh, let's go from there. Here we go. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahudah, sir. For here they go, servants and handmaids,
It's
and
that
they shall
handmaid's
take
tale.
them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. To me, that is, look, if you want to come on in and think that you can sneak on in and try to come up with that vanity, white supremacy talking points and things of that nature, you're going to get shipped on over to the mother folks. That's mentioned in 2nd Esdras 15, verses 40 through 46. Here we go. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahuwah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage. Wait a second. People are like, oh, we're going to have a break. Does it look like we're going to have a break? Because it looks like we're going to have servants in the land. I'm going to tell you this. But when you've had a cleaner clean your house, uh, let's just be real. Whether they clean daily, whether they clean weekly, you're gonna get used to that cleaner. Now, let's back this on up. Let's back this on up. If you go to a resort, you go to a hotel, and they're making your bed every day, and they're changing out your towels and everything else. Don't do it. I need a rest from you. But can you make sure that I get a couple more towels? Just put it on my bed. And also fluff up my sheets. I need rest from you. So,
Israelites will take advantage of that. You know that, right?
oh yeah,
We will take advantage of that.
oh
At
yeah.
first.
Once you start seeing the, all righty,
Oh
all right.
boy!
Once you start
That
seeing,
bell.
that the bathrooms and the beds are made, and look, it's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. Once they start getting those foot massages, oh, ooh, all
Oh,
right.
I knew he was going to take it to the feet. I knew he was taking it to the feet.
What's your slippers, sir?
These toenails ain't going to clip themselves. We will have different types, different tones of bell, and we expect you all to know and to identify what bell is for what.
Mm. The small bell, the large bell, the big bell.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
The big bell, you're in trouble.
But I had to go there this morning because, no, make no mistake about it. Think about what they see coming. And I want to finish this verse and then we'll discuss. This is Isaiah 14:3. And from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. We had served in a hard bondage. And so guess what they fear? They fear that they're going to be serving in a hard bondage. See, they don't understand that there are laws that do apply to the stranger. Uh-oh. For all the folks, law, statutes, and commandments, yeah, there are laws that apply to the stranger. So imagine if you break the law that the Most High has given you regarding the stranger. I'm just saying.
To be honest with you, though, Karis, what's really interesting is how many of us want to really do the low down, dirty things that they did to us? How many of us? Do we have the stomach for it? If you are salivating to do what they did to us, to them, then you're not Yashara. I'm sorry. I don't know what spirit you coming in. Maybe you belong with them. I'm not, I don't even care. The wicked of the wicked, let them serve their captivity, their slavery. Those who take those lot, they can do whatever. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know it. I don't, you know, I want to live in peace. And if they come into my house, I would treat them with kindness and compassion. Like we have to show them. And I know it's going to stick in a lot of people's throat, but remember, these are the same people who you're going to have doing things for you. And it's like, it's no point in saying, well, they're not coming in my house, but they will be. They'll be cleaning, they'll be doing the hard cleaning. We'll probably obviously clean our, you make a sandwich, you clean the crumbs up, you don't need them standing there waiting, like every crumb that you drop, they clean it. But the pulling out that washing machine, that fridge, cleaning behind it and doing, all that kind of stuff, they'll probably be doing that. They're not going to be doing.
They're going to be cleaning those air vents and those air filters.
Yeah.
Get up on there, change them light bulbs. I ain't breaking my neck for that.
The chimney sweep applications will be open very soon.
Yeah, we need that. We need that sewer cleaned out. Get them overalls on.
We'll probably have technology, or we can allow you to come up with the technology that will facilitate your work. We'll help you, just as we did. No, we ain't that wicked. We'll probably create something and give it to you because that's who we are. They probably won't even need to work as hard as what they work in their own houses, because the technology will probably have access to so much resources. We'll come up with things to make their lives a little easier, just because that's how we are. We create things and they benefit from it.
So, yeah,
what are you laughing at?
Yeah, my allergies have allergies. Hit them vents. I look at dust and I start sneezing when I look at dust. I got a dust like every other day. I'm like, oh, that's too much. That's too much of a gray. It's like that 5 o'clock shadow when you're shaving. That 5 o'clock. No. I gotta get that here. Let me get these vents, these filters, man. They say once a month, man. I take that thing twice a month. Nope. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Lion pride. Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie. I'll
two fingers. Do what? Wax on.
With the baby powder, so I don't get shaved. Oh my.
Oh dear Lord. Mm-mm. All the ideas are going to come out now. The Gentiles will be like, ew, I'm not doing that. Oh,
It'll be much worse with them other folks.
oh, trust me.
It'll be much
You
worse.
will. They might send you. Put your brain in a rocket and try to see if the firmament is actually real.
Yeah, and what happened? What? Oh man, that scene right there. What happened? The rocket had to turn around.
It didn't turn
It just,
around, Karen. It went somewhere else. It went somewhere else. They said millions of years until the next star.
it went into what? Oblivion, right?
Yep.
Oblivion. Mm.
He went into the abyss.
Okay, so we're gonna give you some spoiler alerts on here because here's the funny thing. Even though, how telling was that? It was a white guy trying to kill a black guy because a black guy got named to like a very, very important station.
Which guy? What, sorry? Say that again?
It was the black guy that was just, kind of philandering through and, kind of
Yeah.
really didn't have any type of
But did
leash
you
on life.
notice
Yeah, go
at the
ahead. Go ahead.
beginning? I was going to say, did you notice at the beginning when they were trying to figure out who sent the first headset, and they all looked to him and they said, "Look, if just apply yourself for more than 8 seconds or something, and come up
For
with
more than
what you think."
for more than
And
60 seconds and
yeah,
come up with the solution.
because they know that they need us.
Stop. Stop. I'm like, oh man. That's what I was like. I think AI wrote this.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because none of them would be so truthful.
No, yeah, and it's funny because
Lying while being honest at the same time, basically.
bingo, bingo. So now all of a sudden, there's a reprogramming of the masses.
Hmm.
I was watching the last voyage of the Demeter. It was supposed to be some like horror thing, and it was one of the actors he had played in like the new 24 the Hebrew brother. And the funny thing is that he survived. He was the only one that survived, and I just had to laugh at this one. The white lady that that he brought back to life with his own blood when his blood transfusions. Yeah, it was cringe. It was very cringe worthy. And she was the last one to go because she finally turned into the creature that he knew that she actually was. I'm like, oh my goodness. They're
What
telling
film
on
is this?
themselves. This is the last voyage of the Demeter.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it had come out last year. And then he makes it into London because he was a black doctor that was Oxford trained and he went to Romania and nobody could get him a job. I'm like, so he's a scholar that had gone over into the Khazarian territories.
Hmm.
And when the
Well,
king there did not saw his skin color, did not approve, but I'm sure was able to glean knowledge. Does this sound familiar to anyone?
oh, Karis, the verse I was reading just this morning was
Remember
in regards to that.
Bulan? Remember Bulan? The
Yeah.
Khazarian king that converted the masses to what? And who did he send for? Yahudim scholars
Mm-hmm.
to train the people. And then they eventually got kicked out. I mean, I was like, all right, it's a reprogramming of sorts. Now the reprogramming is here. I don't know who's in charge of the reprogramming. I don't know the Hollywood execs. I don't know what the agenda is, but you can
Well,
clearly see what's going on because, hey, you have this choice. Choice one, you go with the new rulers that's coming from the west over there or the far east, however you want to call it. Or choice two, you leave with these folks that's the world, the people are bringing back, and you take your chances. Because they seem to be fair, they seem to be caring, they seem to be, not very revengeful. And a lot of them will choose, well, I'm going to choose One Piece. I gotta make sure I watch my One Piece episodes.
Man, I cannot get into One Piece. I'm sorry. It's just too. I'm in the beginning, and it's just too slow for me.
Yeah, God, can you check your mic? It sounds like you came through sounding like you're on that Krypton spaceship. Sounding like Zorg. Or Zog. That's what it was. Zog. There you go. Yeah, so yeah, if you can fix your mic. Oh. And the saddest thing is, but a lot of people don't know about these eclipses and won't tell you about these eclipses, is that in 1619, there was an eclipse. And what did that do? That signaled our arrival to the quote unquote new world. To the quote unquote.
Oh, there was eclipse during that time.
Yeah, right before then. You can look it on up. In 1619, I believe the eclipse was around like May or June time frame. It's like to say like June or July. It was one of those. But it was
That's really interesting, considering when George Floyd. That's really interesting. So the fullness of that. So, oh my goodness, it's like
1619. No, 1619.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that you had, what did you say? The darkening of the star or the darkening of the sun, and then you had that preceded, that came before this, us being taken. And then at the end of the ending in 2020, George Floyd, which then came before everything else that we see now. It's like you've got two different things that came before as a herald of one was our doom and the other what was going to happen to them, but by their own hands. And it was almost like a Stephen moment,
Thank you,
with George
Ernest
Floyd.
Eggs. Yes, July 1619 eclipse. The mark went through Africa from south to west, and then what ended up happening?
Wow, that is
on into captivity.
really something.
You cannot make this on up. My question, I guess a lot of folks' question is going to be, what happens next? I've always said this. Look,
the rapture.
Obviously.
I mean,
Obviously.
in the three body problem. No spoilers, but there was one scene when they were on that level when everyone was gravitating. I'm like, oh, the rapture.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the amount of threes that was in there? The three bunnies, the actual problems, the car. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my god, it was like a three body problem within the three body problem. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
literally on episode 3 and like
Oh,
and
okay.
they just realized that they're being like recruited, which is pretty funny. And what was I gonna say?
What was being recruited? Who was being recruited? That was very telling.
Oh, the smart, like
Foundation.
all the scientists and all the
No, 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 no. Who was invited? There are certain invites to certain
It
people.
was it
oh
was
The,
it
the,
was
the child nations that were being
yeah,
recruited by
it
the
was the
what?
Far
And,
Eastern nation.
yep, and the Anglo-Saxon.
yeah,
Hmm.
uh-huh.
Do you get that? That was,
Yeah.
by the quote unquote alien or angelic beings.
Yeah,
And
because
I,
what's her face is Courtney Kardashian is the one like saying you're not invited, blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure that's her because I was like, who is that? And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely one of the Kardashians. Like,
Is
it's
it?
not actually. No,
it
it's a
isn't.
called C. I've forgotten her name. Her name is Sea. Shamuk or something like that. But yeah,
She
it's
literally
not a
looks like
Kardashian.
Courtney
Yeah,
Kardashian.
she does, but it's not her.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I had to look as well.
I thought I was bugging out.
Wait. Is she Indian or something?
No, I think she is half Japanese.
She was there in like in Mexico speaking Spanish. So
Oh no, no,
she
no,
was
not her. Which one are you talking? Are you talking about the alien, the siphon? The
Yeah, the woman that's always showing up in the game with the
Yeah,
little child.
she's not a Kardashian. The other one, the Hispanic girl, no, she's not a Kardashian either.
but do you understand what that heralds? What she's trying to say is in
Hmm.
that next kingdom, that's gonna be the look in the next kingdom.
Yes.
And that kingdom is coming. And why? Because right, humanity is trying to then say basically it's gonna be the black man that saves us.
Well, I haven't
Do
gotten that far yet, but
bro, what are you waiting on? Give us me.
I'll probably finish it today. But like literally, what was very eye opening was, oh, let me help you conquer this world or whatever. Like literally talking to entities that they don't even know what their real um
Purpose or mission
purpose and
is
motivation is. And that
yeah,
other
exactly.
rich guy, the rich guy too, reminded me of like them folk, the I mean the rich people that Mr. Burns is emulated off of, their connection. And he was calling her
Mm.
Lord and all this other stuff, and how the rich have
Oh
access
yeah.
to that, access to
Sorry, can I
basically.
just answer? Sorry to cut you, but Magita, it's Three Body Problem. It's on Netflix because she wanted to know what we're talking about.
And it was funny, you know what? Because when they were like, "Yeah, we built 1,000 ships to relocate," I'm like, "Uh oh, Battlestar Galactica."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what I found really interesting though? Was when they first when the Asian girl and the guy, I forgot what his name was, Jack or something like that.
Jack.
When they were, yeah, he put on her headset. What happened? The entity came and slashed his throat and said, "You were not invited." For me, that was like, oh, they're gonna be locked out of that new. There's so many tells. There's so many things in there.
They're gonna get locked out of the new dispensation.
Yes.
And what was said a couple of weeks or months ago, matter of fact, that excuse me, basically the US and the UK were not going to be in the new quote unquote or world order per se.
They said that about us, but we also know why that is.
Mm-hmm. We know why that is exactly because we ain't
And
trying to
we're okay.
participate. Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks like Isaiah 14, verses 1-3 says something different. So we're gonna be all right. We don't need to worry about that in terms of having brains and stuff cut out and folks only, being
Shipped to places.
looking like
neural interface.
looking like RoboCop. What was it, RoboCop 2 with Kane, right? All we alive with the spine and brain, and what did they do? They kept them doped up on opioids.
They literally look like Butters when he wears the Doctor Doom helmet. That's what that helmet reminded me of. If you watch South Park and Butters turns into Doctor Doom or whatever.
So did you all understand that it was the dying white guy, white guy that had no hope? He was brought to go to the moon with just a brain.
He went into the abyss.
What happens? What does that mean? Well, what's his carcass for? I'm like, oh my goodness. That's gonna be the baseline of these 3D printed meats.
Oh gosh, you guys literally was about to say Soylent Green, man. But yeah.
And you know what I noticed too, just watching it? You know how they, the black guy, he's like literally just the way they treat him. He's just like they treat him like the friends, like that one girl is just like, oh, I just need you when I need you. And
I know,
man. You needed to see that when you get to the end, when he calls her, where is she?
I'm like,
when he
I don't know, Sister Chantel. Spoiler alert. No,
sorry.
I'm joking, but no, it's all good. I mean, like, I literally just see the way that they talk to him, and like, he's an intelligent guy, but they just like kind of find a way to like demean him.
And he's always being demeaned, right?
Yeah.
And then he becomes the wall facer, or given like the title that they don't want to know what he says. They don't want to know what he thinks.
Karis, did you know?
He was literally what? Made a king. And if you notice, all the other wall facers that were given the title of authority or rulership were nations that were non-European.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that.
Did you notice though, Karis, that I almost called you Karen. Karen. Sorry. Did you notice
I would have you know I am not a Karen. You say that again, and I'm going to call the police on you. Don't play with me, Chantal. Don't play with me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A slip of the tongue, Freudian slip, Yeah, but did you notice that one thing that I don't think a lot of people picked up on was why that black guy was chosen to be the wall facer? Is it wall facer?
The wall facer.
He was. That man chose him.
Which one?
Did you know that? Oh, the rich guy, the one that was orchestrating it. He was the one that chose him. Yeah. In the previous episode, he was on the phone and he said wall facer. That's why what's her right. Now things are starting to come into focus.
And the world was trying to cut him to pieces because why? Because it was the white people that were literally losing power.
Yes.
Man, I'm telling you.
Push him out into the world. If you've got somebody to blame, take it to him. We don't want nothing of it. It's his show now.
Yep. Yeah.
How many politicians are literally being in America that are literally falling? Look at what's going on with what's his face in New York. Look how many of them, how many of our black people are literally
Eric Adams.
Yeah.
They're getting pushed out to do what? To take the fall.
Yep.
And wow, he said, I don't want the job. He was telling us like, who chose me? I don't want this job.
Exactly.
Oh, we know what you're gonna say. We know what you're gonna say, and it doesn't matter what you say. I'm your assistant. Who was the assistant? Who was the assistant?
Yeah, exactly.
Isaiah 14. We're
Exactly.
talking
Let
about
me ask you a
three-body
question.
problem.
I don't think I've reached that far, but
No, you
I'd
haven't reached that far,
imagine.
but when you
I'd
see it, you'll be like, ah.
And
But
then
Carrie,
Wong from
did you?
Doctor Strange has what is that, Scottish, Sister Chantal Glass? What? Yeah, we got him. We got him. You know, the Scottish accent is a little different, isn't it?
I think he's from
So the
Manchester.
guy, so that same white guy, the older white guy, that's like that's part of like the secretive agency. He
Mhm.
actually was he actually played in the same movie as the captain where the ship had gone down with the last voyage of Demeter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
He's also in Game of Thrones as well.
yeah, it's the same one in Game of Thrones. I'm like, these folks know. These
Mhm.
folks know.
Do you think that he was the one that orchestrated that man to shoot him? I don't think it had anything to do with the aliens. I don't. I don't.
That's a
Because
good.
they don't trust humanity anymore. Why?
Yes.
You lie. So
And then
I believe. Sorry, I was just going to say I believe they cut off communications with humanity, except for the girl.
Do
But
you
I
do you,
don't think they.
do you think okay, so think about this. Think about this in this time, in this age, in this generation. Right now. Right now. Just think about this. When a
Mhm,
lot of people are like, after 2020, something weird happened. It feels weird. It feels different. It feels like, that there's no, remember, they'll even say that here. It feels like there's no leadership. It
mhm.
feels like, everybody's just kind of doing whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about what you see in Ukraine. They
Isn't
don't
that
even
what
have a
that
they don't even
pastor
have a
said a
tactic.
few years back?
Yeah, they're like they don't even have a tactic. They're just trying to throw, money at the problem. And it's like they're just giving them all outdated, antiquated weapons that don't even they can't even have that in comparison to what the Russian weapons that they have and Russian technology. And people are
Mhm,
asking the question like, and these are commentators. These are
mhm.
these little geopolitical commentators, and they're saying, what's going on in the West? It's like the West doesn't have any idea. They don't have any clue. I believe, this is just my personal opinion. I believe that as we had woken and had awakened, their communication is no longer there.
Boom. I said this. I said
Their
this from. Do
communication
you
is
want
no
to know?
longer there.
Do you
Because
want to know
why?
when this happened? Long before 2020, though.
Go ahead, Sister Chantel. Go ahead.
I theorized this happened from, and they told you, but nobody was listening. The whole Ray effect. I'm telling you, it's the Ray effect. It's literally when they made Star Wars so crappy. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I'm saying what I'm saying. Follow me. They made it so crappy, and it boggled my mind. I kept thinking, why would they do this? And they did, and the whole thing with Ghostbusters and everything, another crappy film. And I'm like, so they're not listening. The whole point is to give people what they want. If people are not going to see your movies, you're not making any money. And they were taking losses after losses after losses, but they still kept putting this rubbish out there. And I'm like, okay, why are they doing this? Then what did we hear? We heard how CEOs were stepping down. We're hearing how there's movement. And I'm thinking, okay, these CEOs are stepping down. Where are they going? Where are they going? And I said, they're going, they're hiding, and they're going to leave you with the poop storm. One of the things they want is they want people arguing amongst themselves. You had the whole of the fandom, the Star Wars fandom was erupted into this big thing. People were, especially with this episode 7, everybody was going nuts. And I'm like, this is what they want. Because while you're arguing amongst yourself about this, you're not seeing what they're doing. Now, the whole thing
I'm
about
sorry, Sister Chantel. Isn't it
huh?
ironic that they're all up in arms about John Boyega being a Jedi?
Yes, it is. But here's the thing. And afterwards they were like, oh yeah, we want John Boyega. Shut up. But anyway, here's the thing, right? They got so bent out of place. They were like, oh, this, that, and the other, and yeah, but the Ray effect, when I say the Ray effect, it's it's the thing that we see today. It's the same thing as the Karen effect. We're seeing one of the things that they were putting out after episode 6 came out. There was a lot of them wearing, and we've seen a lot of men were starting to wear T-shirts that said, "I'm a feminist." On top of that, you had on Star Wars, you had a lot of them wearing T-shirts, including the Kathleen Kennedy creature, the 3K as I call her, was wearing "The Force is female," and I'm like, huh. I'm seeing all this push towards the feminine spirit. There is no leadership because it's now being driven. There's no male leadership. And I'm not trying to be so harsh on my sex. I am just saying there is no male leadership. We are seeing this feminine energy. Why do you think you keep saying, Karis, that all these Gentiles, they keep being governed by their emotions? Oh, I don't believe. I feel. Who gives a stuff about your feelings? Fact is fact. There is a feminine energy that is dictating everything. And we are seeing, if you start looking, you go back and you watch all these films, it's always female driven. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that. But it's just, it's like, when I say the Rey effect, Rey could do no wrong. She was perfect. She was like the second coming of Christ. And I'm like, what is going on? Right? They're pushing this female driven, no, I can do no wrong, I am perfect, while they batter the man down, whether he's black, whether he's white, whether he's Indian, whether he's Hispanic, doesn't matter where he is, just so long as that male energy gets battered. But one thing I noticed, she had the two men. You had John Boyega's character and what's his face, the Hispanic guy, I've forgotten his name. What's his name? Thingy Isaac. Oscar Isaac. Yeah, you had those two, especially in the last one, which was pants, by the way, but very revealing. I say this every time they put out a film that is complete pants and complete poo, watch it, because it's not about the storyline, it's about the message that they're trying to put in that. But at the end of it, you had episode 9, you had both these two characters fighting over her. But what was very telling in the last episode was when they were she went after the whole lineage of the Skywalkers was gone, no more. She took the 2 lightsabers of both Luke and Leia, and then she went into the desert and she buried the lightsabers, the 2 sticks, in the desert. And I'm like, what? Am I the only one seeing
and then she
this?
took the name
Yes.
Skywalker.
And then she took the name. I'm like, am I the only one seeing this? What is going on? When you start to see all the messages that they put out there, I'm telling you, all this female.
You gotta reset your mic because you're going too hard on that mic, Sister Chantel.
Mic abuse right there.
Yep, she was going too hard on it.
Did that cut out?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Yeah, too much truth there. There's too much stuff where it's just the Force is female. And this is the truth, the Force. What is the Force to them? When you understand it's this demonic spirit, it's Babylon, but it's like it's Babylon trying to reinvent herself, right? You have so many films. I mean, I literally just watched another one, Rebel Moon, which is also on Netflix.
I couldn't even
I passed out during that movie. That movie was terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't even watch it.
Of course, it's terrible.
No, I couldn't get past like the first like 5-10 minutes. I'm like, this is garbage. And then they have
that was like the third minute of it. I tried watching it 3 times.
You know that they have another one coming out like
yeah.
April 19th. I'm like,
yeah.
Like they must have canned this. I said because because this thing is garbage. I'm like, I
But
don't even know.
that's why you watch it, because it's usually that's how
People
they
said that they
communicate a
literally
lot.
solved every plot, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, every
Yeah.
like one of those like epic like trilogies or whatever. They like put them all and mashed it together, and it was just terrible, like
I'm
unfocused.
trying to figure out what the story was about.
It
Yeah,
was
exactly. You don't know.
listen, they were trying to literally have a drama about Spaceballs.
Yeah, I
That's what
couldn't
it
get
was.
past her chin, to be honest with you. I couldn't get
God,
past her.
it's just like,
I'm sorry. I'm saying it is what it is. She had a clef as well. I'm like, dude,
yeah, it was like the manly looking, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know what
the
you want to
force is female. Hey,
call it.
you know she was in that what's it called, the oh, what was that film where everybody, we were talking about it about last year with I think what's his face was the villain of the story. Oh, what's it called? And they made everybody go crazy for the phones and everything. The guy that played Mr. Darcy in Lord, not
Oh, you,
Lord, what's
you're talking about. I think you're talking about the new Mission Impossible.
no, not that one. Not that. No, not that one. Oh gosh, what's it called? Samuel Jackson
Kingsman.
was in it. And,
Kingsman,
that's
right?
it, the Kingsman. She was in there as the one with the no legs, with the blades.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
her.
Blade one. Yeah,
Yeah, and she's in also in the new Mummy film with oh, that terrible film with
oh, I
Oh,
saw
Tom
the
that
one
one.
Cruise.
with TC, that was garbage.
Yeah, no, it's terrible too.
With the four eyes. I mean,
Yeah, that looked like they tried to combine Egyptology with Ripley's Believe It or Not or something. It was
I have
just
to admit that Brendan Fraser really killed it in the old Mummy movies to compare it to his performance.
oh yeah,
what they
yeah it
what,
was
I liked those old ones. They were good,
yeah
but
yeah and Encino Man was better than the Tom Cruise thing. It's like okay, come on now. Yeah, boy.
they do put a lot of stuff in the films, and if you're paying attention, you will literally see the true story that they're actually trying to tell you. And a lot of everything we already know, they're not original. Everything that they're either telling you what they plan to do, but more importantly, they're telling everything that they're telling you from it's out of scriptures, just with their view of things. And a lot of it is, if you don't recognize it, it's because it's from the hidden books, the apocrypha, you
Yeah,
know.
and we've been blessed with discernment to understand what these things are. Because a couple years ago, I wouldn't. I mean, like, hey, I thought I knew stuff, and like, yeah, the basic stuff about whatever, the military industrial complex and blah blah blah. I don't want to, get all tinfoily hat, but those things. But once you understand your identity and knowledge of self in the scriptures and what they are, how they represent us, it all makes sense. It's so deep and spiritual that you could keep going deeper and deeper and you still wouldn't even get to the the precipice of what the Most High knows and how they've literally tried to weaponize our ignorance against us. Even like this guy, he was just sounding like an idiot. I'm like, of course they're gonna make the Israelite some anti, God person or some atheist because that's what they want. Like they
Yeah,
want us to be spiritually dead like them.
Mm-hmm.
that part annoyed me, but the siphon on the sky, no, that tripped me out. I went and I started looking at the sky like,
Oh yeah, that reminds me of Project Bluebeam when they were doing that.
yeah, I think that's what they're trying to put out, that we have the technology to do this. If we're putting it out on the on the screen, then we have the technology to do that, because that's pretty much that's the standard. It's kind of on brand. We know that the minute they put this stuff out, it's like they're telling that we've either done it, doing it, or we're planning to do it.
Very interesting. Very interesting. It was funny. I got up this one. I got up earlier than I had gotten up, and I went to bed. Pretty good time, and I don't know how. Look, the Most High just woke me on up, and I don't know what I was thinking. I had a really interesting dream, but I woke up out of that dream, and it was funny because let me make sure I'm phrasing this correctly, because this is crazy. It was, you're beginning to understand them, and that's driving them crazy. And I said, I was thinking about that, beginning to understand them. See, and I knew that was a ruach, because it was this. They don't know why they are going crazy, but they know why they're going crazy. They can't tell you, right, what's happening to them. Because the moment that they tell you what's happening to them, the moment that they have to admit that they're losing power, and that's the moment where you can understand that there are literally instructions of how they're controlling it. It was like it was crazy, because it's like they actually have it's like the Ruach was saying, it's like they actually have a construction or an instruction manual of how to control them, but they have it hidden away. I'm like, what? I was like, wait a second. I said, Father, I said, this is crazy. That just like dropped in my spirit. It's like they have a instruction manual,
Cap, Alt, Delete.
but they have it hidden away. And I don't know where this came from. I don't know where it came from. But I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense.
Well, if you understand, they go by, was it manifest destiny? They're never going to turn around and say or admit anything to the contrary of what they want to happen. For them to admit, there's a small pocket of them that do, and as a result, they are shunned and they are outcast to their own community, because it's like,
excommunicado.
right, we have to cut out that cancer, because if we don't and we allow that to stay amongst us, it's like, what's the saying? You need to take out the one bad apple, otherwise it's going to,
It's like this. No, it's like this. Look, they always try to say, oh, it's the elites that this, it's the elites that, and honestly, to a certain extent, I do agree with that. But I believe that they truly don't understand that it's the elites that know and that understand how to push the buttons on them, so they know how to control them, because they don't understand. Look, what's the ultimate issue that they have for
Vanity.
them? Mostly, no, yeah, that is vanity, but they don't understand that vanity is a spiritual mechanism that's controlled by something. Because why? Because they are influenced by it, and they can't really tell that they're influenced by it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
We can tell them, you're influenced by vanity, and your vanity is killing you. Because why? Because you're doing these things that it's like at the most inappropriate, inopportune times, and it's just getting worse and worse. And we always say, like, can they help themselves? And the problem
they can't change their program.
bingo.
They can't change
Well,
your
you're
program.
talking about their
Because
genetics. They can't change it.
well, is it that, or is it something that's even more spiritual? Because
Well,
the spiritual
it is
dynamic,
spiritual.
yeah, and the spiritual dynamic is they don't want to understand anything out of the context of spiritual, because for them it's, I can't believe that I can't control what I'm doing. That's not what I heard, right? You know, they always get those excuses and things of that nature. But then
Well,
they
they
can't
hate.
but then they can't understand. It's like, okay, so then why do you hate black people? Well, I mean, it's something about you all. It's something about this. It's something about that. See, they can never really contextualize the problem because they've been programmed to not really understand the problem. Because I believe their masters, whatever you want to call them, however you want to frame them or phrase them, have not allowed them to really understand that concept. Because why? Do you see them coming on out and saying, "Yeah, we really need to have some laws and some understandings of things. We really need to have our people, you know, really get a good breakdown of, you know, how we are perceived." They never do that, and they never
Mm-mm.
will do that. The closest that they came to that, like Sister Chantel had said, was literally with George Floyd. Because
Yeah.
why? Because they saw that they had an existential crisis because they had taken things too far, and now that caused the whole world to see and perceive them in a negative light. It wasn't them that wanted to do that, because not by their nature and their training and their programming, they really couldn't understand what the world was seeing. So literally by virtue of not being able to really comprehend things. So, you know, when we say, man, they really don't get a lot of the things that we get, it's true.
Yeah, and then
It's
that's
true.
why I don't hang out with most of them
So
anymore
so
because
no, so let me get back to this, because I want to give this a little bit more of a comprehensive understanding, right? So when we look at Isaiah chapter 14, when they're saying, look, they're going to try and cleave to us, why? Because they're starting to understand that they're getting ready to get cannibalized in the system that's getting ready to go after them. This is protection. This is help.
Yes. Yes.
We always tend to think about it, and I want us to understand the focus and the clarity here, because we really do, we over emotionalize things, and we don't really actually get that understanding, right? That actual understanding, right? Where you see this, that Cornelius in his house had gotten the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. And it surprised Peter. Dang, these folks can actually get this. I just thought that they were just so, you know, so messed up, so out of here that they didn't know anything.
Oh, you're onto something. That's exactly what I was gonna go with. Keep talking. Keep talking. I want to see if you're going where
You,
I was.
you see,
I was
you
gonna go.
see, you see what I'm saying? So now, so now, in the context, it's like, yes, do they deserve to be written off by us? Absolutely, they deserve to be written off. However, it's not
I just
us that
heard Samuel
decide.
Jackson. Sorry, I just
It's
heard
not
Samuel
us that
Jackson.
decides who writes things off. It's us that we are told to go into the whole world, to talk to the people, to bring the news of Yahushua HaMashiach. And they have a decision to make of either they can accept it or they can throw it away. Because why? Because their decision is, am I going to stay in the spiritual bondage that is programmed in me? They have a spiritual bondage programmed in their DNA, whether they want to admit it or not. So now they are confronted with a listen, you're going to have to be reprogrammed, because if you don't get reprogrammed, you're going into captivity. Not my words, not Brother Karras's words, not Sister Chantel's, not Brother Garth's. It's this word. But here's the thing, you have an opportunity, because you have demonstrated in the past that you can receive the Ruach HaKodesh, that you can operate in the Ruach HaKodesh. But the problem is that your fleshly programming is now more ingrained in this time, which is going to be a lot harder for them, right? It's a lot harder for them to get over that programming.
There's no more patch for them, Brother Karras. They're a legacy. They're a legacy.
I mean,
they can't be updated anymore.
Mm. When I said that,
because why? Wait, Garth, you broke it down, Garth. Why? Because after 2020, what happened? After 2020, what happened? They got cut off from their spiritual, quote unquote, Babylon, quote unquote, angelic, quote unquote, downloads.
Yeah.
mm,
The updates. The operating system no longer allows for updates.
They can't update. So as we're going, they're just falling behind, right? The technology, the spiritual technology. And we don't have a spiritual technology. All we're doing is we're just listening to the Ruach HaKodesh. Because why? Because we are understanding this word. Because why? Because what they were using and utilizing is no longer able to connect because of those particular workarounds that they would provide in the system. Well, don't think of it like this. Think of it like this. Well, if you really can't, because he brought this, and this, and now it's this, and this. So you explain it. Have we not seen that with the whole Putin thing? He just threw the monkey. He just threw, he gummed up the works. He threw the monkey wrench into the whole operation. And what are they doing? They really can't articulate the situation. All they can say is, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Because that's all they've been programmed with. I don't know if this is just too much. I'm sorry, family.
no,
I don't know.
No.
it's not.
I get it, because
See,
our programming comes from the source. So we are literally the source. The source is the Ruach, and the Ruach is the source of every code written on in existence. So it could always be updated, and we've always gone. We went through a major update after our
Yes.
captivity,
that's
and
400 years.
now our program exceeds anything that the masses have tried to put out to imitate our source or
Because
our
they're
code.
operating, they're on literally a spiritual Windows 7. And we're
Yeah.
at a Windows 11. Spiritually speaking. I mean, honestly, spiritually speaking. And that's honestly, it's funny how AI had come up with the images. Because literally that's what it is. Literally, that's what it is. It's like you can't get it. So then what happens when the masses see these folks can't get it? I got to step away from you. Because why? Because how many times when we get mad at a can opener that no longer functions, right? Has anybody ever had those electric can openers and they no longer function? And it's like,
I
okay,
haven't
this
seen
thing
one
can't
of
even.
those in a long time.
You get what I'm saying? So then what happens? You can't get the battery. The battery's all there. It's all jacked up. What do? You just don't have that can opener because, oh man, I have that can opener because this can opener, it's we've been through some things. I mean, we opened up like over 1,000 cans. This is sentimental value.
You
Well,
throw it away, man.
some folks may hold on to the can opener because of sentimental value, and other folks will be like, there's no value in this can opener anymore, so I'm just gonna throw it away. There's no value in this society anymore. So it
But
has
who's
to get
throwing them away? That's the question.
So it's getting thrown away. It's getting deconstructed. Why is it getting deconstructed? Because this iteration has run its course. This iteration's run its course because why? Because it can no longer get that download from its principality that it once had.
Nope,
And
no
that
more.
is where I was going as well.
The download is 56K speed. We're pushing now 300 gigabytes to
300
terabyte
gigabyte
speeds.
fiber
Yeah,
internet.
we're now at terabyte speeds.
What do they call it? Gigabyte internet. That's what we're on, and they're like still on like dial up.
Yeah. Their modem is glitching. And it's true because they're trying to figure out what's happening. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out what are we saying and what are we doing that now we can influence this whole world.
They're at half duplex, Brother Karras. They can't receive and send at the same time.
Yeah, we are in a tremendous arena because now it's not that the masses are being reprogrammed, it's just now that they really can't understand. It's like, well, what happened? What was the scripture that I had mentioned earlier with? Let me bring this on out here. Why do they hate Obadiah? They hate Obadiah because I'm going to come out of here. Obadiah chapter 1. Starting at verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. They brought them to their end. They've stretched them out. They've worn them. They've been worn out. Why have they been worn out? Because folks have been worn out trying to do what? Trying to hold on to the lie.
And not to cut you off, Brother Karras, but what happens when programming or an application becomes too old and there's no more patches? You got to get rid of it because that is going to leave all your other networks and technologies vulnerable.
You
Just
have
like
a
if
vulnerability that has to be deprecated.
Yep, deprecated, exactly. Their whole their whole program is deprecated, and it's in danger of affecting everyone else's programming or the source code. So it has to be deleted.
Yep.
Oh man.
They have to cut out that old hardware from the motherboard. They have to cut out that hardware as a people. Hey, you had us on this one. It worked for a little while, but now it doesn't work. Hallelujah. Let me go ahead. Let me finish this on up. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Why? We were only at peace with you, not because we liked you, but because we didn't want to fight you and we weren't trying to get ran away. Because why? You were operating on a different level. You had a different download. But we understood how you worked. We understood the instruction manual that you tried to hide away, but we were able to piece it out. We were able to comprehend how you think. We were able to put the sources together. Maybe through the help of AI, maybe through quantum computer. Who knows? Honestly, I don't care.
Karis, you know, they worship the god of the air and what's their sigil? The eagle.
Hmm.
When that power is taken away, when the god of the air has been taken away from them, what happens? The bird can no longer fly.
And if the bird can no longer fly, then guess what? The creatures of the earth will do what? Will eat.
That bear is after his chicken tenders.
Bingo.
The bird
That
is the
bear is
word.
that bear is climbing that tree. That bear is coming for the young. Oh my goodness. I listen, that's what I said. I was up this early. I said, all right, Father, you gave me this download. What am I gonna do with it?
And
What am I gonna do
also,
with it?
three
Go ahead.
body. You just see how their over glamorization and just this pedalization of this thought, like, oh, the West. In the beginning, they're literally beating that her father or whatnot. He's like, "You think God exists?" He's like, "Science doesn't tell either way." And then they killed him, and I mean, they deleted him. My bad. And then like, even the notion of this guy, the black guy. He's like, it's either the science is bad or it's just a scam. It's just like there's no open mindedness or any, like, possibility that a god exists in their world. It's just like they think they're the master of their universes.
Well, let me go ahead. Let me finish this on up. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. Now have you saw this? Have we all witnessed this? 7, 8, 9 years ago, right? The Middle East. And it was funny because I was looking at a commentator the other day, and he was talking about the things going on in Iran. This was actually yesterday, matter of fact. And they were saying, the US, this is the commentator, this is his words. He says the U.S. is about to be dragged into war by that Eastern, you know, nation, and that they're already there. The U.S. is already there, fighting under a false flag or a different flag. But this will give the U.S. the opportunity to re-engage in the Middle East. Why is it giving the U.S. the opportunity to re-engage in the Middle East? Because they don't want to tell you that the U.S. has basically been kicked out of the Middle East. They don't want to tell you that the U.S. has basically been undone. That
US has
Eastern
been kicked
Mediterranean,
out of Africa as well and
and
Europe.
they're getting ready to get kicked out of Africa. Yep. And the final straw is, honestly, when Russia ramps up, they're in the middle of their ramp up right now. But when they start going full steam ahead, all they're doing was just measuring tactics in Ukraine. So when they start going full speed ahead and they start taking down these European capitals one by one, you're gonna tell me that US is gonna be staying around? No, they're not.
No, she's going to retreat back to her safe haven across the waters, thinking that she's safe. She's isolated. Uh, they don't need to put boots on the ground in order to literally bring you to your knees. We've literally, they showed you one possibility in what's that film called again, with Julia Roberts and that. Another one, like I keep saying, and I remind people constantly, that you've got those submarines. If they want to, they can just, you still can't track them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Russia wants to destroy America like that, at least not at first. If they do, it would be out of just something that America would do that would literally pass beyond anything. It's like you've passed that line. But I believe that they don't want to do to. I kind of feel that Russia wants to do to America what what the Europeans nations did to Africa, and what they actually intended to do to Russia, and that
Mm-hmm.
was partition the land. I
Yeah,
feel
no, they
that.
want. Yeah, no, they already said they wanted to break up Russia. They wanted to balkanize Russia. They wanted to get Moscow and St. Petersburg and some other areas, and they wanted to basically just drive out whatever was left, and Russia was going to be driven basically. What is it? East of the Ural Mountains. That was the
Mhm.
plan. That was the plan.
You'll
They're like,
find that that man is going to turn on them.
oh,
Will you
everything that
render
they
me a
plan.
recompense?
Yeah, everything that they plan, it always gets, brought on them. And that's why I says, look, there is none understanding in him. Remember, all the folks that are like, oh, Saudi Arabia will never join BRICS. Now Saudi Arabia is part of BRICS. And I haven't seen any Saudi ships or anything else. Amazing. Nothing's gone on between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Remember, they're trying to push all that stuff. I said, yeah, they're trying to push that narrative because they want to try to start something. They want to try to start something so then they can get back in there. Hey, look, see, we told you. And I believe that the Saudis probably told them, if you mess anything up, we're gonna skyrocket this oil and you're gonna be done.
Mhm.
I believe that that was the diplomatic cue that they probably received. Do something and we're gonna skyrocket your oil. See, we have to understand how big this game is played. We haven't really understood how big this game is played. So when I'm trying to tell you what these scriptures are saying and why they said they'll cleave, okay. Why are they going to cleave? Because why? Because their whole world is destroyed. Why is their whole world destroyed? Obadiah 1 and 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahudah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, may be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Every one of the Mount of Esau, people miss what the mount actually means. It
The,
means the high, the those politicians, those scientists, all of those of high station.
His
They
Duke.
they don't want to keep them around. Those people will be problematic for them.
all the folks of the highest order. What's the highest order? The
Politicians,
ones
those
that run
bankers, those.
the ones that run this world.
His dukedom. The dukes of Esau. It's a
I was
specific
going to say
title. They
Dukes
call
of
them
Hazzard.
dukes. And you could see, what do they call the Sister Chantel? They call people or leaders in Europe dukes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So now what are they doing? They're fighting. Why are they fighting? Because, like we've always said this before, I've always said this on my platform, this channel. Tails done said it, Sister Shonda's done said it, and many of our platforms. Pastor Rick Fletcher done said it, Sister Gates of Holder done said it. They see that they have to fight because they're literally fighting for their survival.
Mhm.
They're fighting for
Yes.
the survival. I don't know if that's going to be.
I don't mean the literal end. I mean the end of them being the power that they are now. It's
It's the
their
end of their
end.
reign. It's the end of their
Y-
reign. Yeah, it's the end of their
They will
reign.
not ever come back to this.
Hmm.
And that saddens them. The vast majority of them are saddened. A few of them will be like, well, look around. What have we done with it? We're not fit to rule. But the vast majority, it's like what I said to you yesterday. I
Why?
don't
What?
understand. You're not ruling. The normal person ain't ruling. Most of you don't rule. Your politicians don't rule nothing. They're just put there for photo ops. That's it. You're not ruling. The
What?
ones that rule, sorry, go on.
So why do you think they always try to give you these post-apocalyptic movies where, everybody is just kind of out on their own and they're fighting everybody and things of that nature? Because they're fighting over resources. They're fighting over rulership, right? And because they're always fighting each other, that's all they know. You get what I'm telling you? With all that you've known was to subdue, you're just gonna go back to your base. And they're gonna
Yeah,
be fighting and fighting and fighting, and that's it.
but do you think that it's also because of the fact that they want to wipe the slate clean because they feel that if I do that, then it's manageable bite-sized chunks that I can manage because that's Esau's way, divide and conquer. I can't deal with all of
Oh
this.
yeah.
There's too many people. I can't. But maybe if we bring the world down to, like I said, let's not forget about the Georgia Guidestones. Maintain humanity under what? That is the
Right.
top of, and it's so funny that they literally got rid of that. They blew it up themselves.
They
They got
blew
rid of that
themselves up, yeah. Hmm.
just
Great
before,
reset.
right, just before the big C came along, just before the lollipop came along, and just before everybody started see the people that took those things started seeing things and started collapsing and having heart problems and so on and so forth. Maintain humanity, and we can't understand, well, why is this happening? Like, so I swear people have really short memories, real short memories. It's not even that long ago, you
Hmm.
know.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. But you have to understand, listen, that's what they know. That's what they know. We can't tell them anything different.
Actually, I wanted to say something in regards to what you said earlier about their operating system. I, I kind of feel that everyone, we're all under our principalities. The
Hmm.
Most High chose us. That's who we're under. And I agree with you completely about how they have been cut out. They're not getting their downloads anymore. I agree with that. There was only one group of people. The Most High says we're all the same. This is why I said we all are the sum of our genetics, like the spirit of our fathers is upon us. You
Hmm.
could say that is the operating code, the original code from the patriarch of that lineage, country, people, nation, whatever, right? That is the operating code. The difference between us and them, there's only one people in the book where the Most High says they will change. Why? Because he's going to change us. He says, I will put my laws in your heart. I will change you to the point where you will loathe yourself in your own eyes. Nobody else is going to go through that change. It doesn't say that about anybody else. So
Mm-mm.
if they don't have access to reboot their system, then what happens to them? We're the only ones that will get that reboot. What they're doing is like you delete the queen from a beehive. What happens to those bees or the ants?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? What happened in Star Trek when the Borg Queen was destroyed?
Oh, the cube blew up.
There's
The
that, but
cube
what
blew
about
up.
all
Yeah.
those other? If you've watched Voyager, right? There, even with there was 7 and 9. She had certain episodes where she was talking about when she was disconnected from the what's it called again? From the collective,
The
yeah.
collective. Yeah.
She was right. She was on a planet, and they said that they couldn't operate. They didn't know what to do. They were not getting any
Any
no
downloads?
no downloads, no notifications, no nothing. So they were just. She said a lot of drones ended up deleting themselves. Only a handful of them were able to survive. But what happened was when they came, when instead of them coming to the fact that they were free, as soon as another Borg ship came into view, they fired up that beacon and they went right back to the Borg. They needed to be reattached to that system. They cannot survive without that system. What I'm saying is what I've said before. They need, look, even the Most High is telling them, you people cannot survive on your own. You can't. Let me say again, you can't. I'm not being funny, but it's literally in the Bible. This is why it says 10 of you will grab yourselves the skirt of a Yahudim and say, we will go with you because your God is with you. This is why it says that you need to cleave. One way or another, you are going to cleave to something. You're going to either cleave to what is righteous, or you're going to go back into something that is far way worse than even your darkest nightmares could not even comprehend. What they put in those films doesn't even do it justice. One way or another, you have to cleave. I don't mean to be rude, but even a psychiatrist, I can't remember his name, turned around and said that as a people, you are parasitical. You literally watch Stargate, your people do this, create this, you watch it, and you don't even realize that you are the Goa'uld.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? When you were talking about this and the parallel and the similarities, and I don't have to go into depth, but you remember in Battlestar Galactica, who were the two people or the two nations having a child, and who are the two nations that are invited in a three-body problem? I just thought of that while you were talking.
It's so funny because the actor that plays the in Battlestar Galactica, the one that's having the father, he's not Anglo-Saxon. That's what you need to understand. I looked up these actors and so on and so forth. I think he's kind of Eastern European. That's very telling. They choose
how the
their
Cylons were
actors for a
there
reason.
and the Cylons were there to try to advance their programming, all while trying to help the humans survive, and they needed each other. Oh man, it's like a reoccurring theme.
Well, I mean, now think about this. Now think about this. A lot of our people don't understand that when we get back to the land, yeah, we'll be at peace for a little bit, but then we'll be at war. We'll be at war because why?
That's very same.
The peaceful, because there's I think Truth Unedited was talking about that a little bit yesterday. Last night he had his video because folks were getting the 1,000-year reign wrong. Because
Oh
you want to
yeah,
know
I
why?
saw
Because you
that.
want to know why? Because they never want to address our captivity. So don't let them fool you. don't let them fool you.
You said why they're coming back. Well, why does any war start to begin with? If you want to know why they're going to come back, ask yourself why they came in the first place. Ask why wars are started in the first place. I've said it, you said it, I think Yakoba said it, so many other people have said it. It's exactly what I said from the beginning, from Cain and Abel. Even with Satan, it's about, now with them it's with something, it's spiritual, but it's the same thing. It is the same thing. I'm not going to say it, you can say it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the resources. And I think
Exactly.
they'll realize the resources that they've had was a trick. Because why? Because they will realize that somebody grabbed their instruction manual and started to manipulate them as they had manipulated others. It says what? Do unto them as they've done unto the other nations. That is what the scripture says.
And what
That's literally
happens in
what the scripture
IT?
says.
It happens in IT, Karis. Like when you don't have, when you can't, when it costs more to solve a problem than to fix it, then you just leave it and you just do the cost management effective thing as to how you were gonna alleviate that problem. Until then, it gets to the point where you have absolutely have to change or have to change the whole system or change your whole network until that problem is fixed, because you could only for so long, have mitigate whatever error is happening. The system may still run, but that error can never be solved. I feel like that's what they're at with their it's like they can't mitigate that error anymore. It's just gotten to the point where it's just corrupting again the operating system.
Well, and that's what we see. That's what they're dealing with. And that's why they get mad. They'll come on in here, they'll drop their chats and they'll be like, oh, you all are being racist and you all are doing this and all this other black supremacy nonsense. And it's like, no, it's, I understand how they try to continue to have that, use that framework, because you got to remember that's the only thing they know how to use, right? Because when they do see those things happening and occurring with, Putin showing things, when they do see the Pope and his services and his closed services and the pictures of him with the Black Madonna and Jesus, those things that can't compute for them. They literally, it cannot compute. So when we're saying, hey, well, then you explain this, you explain that. Oh, well, it's just lies. Okay. When you explain and give them history, that's why I said, look, I wasn't trying to be mean or coy or things of that nature, but now we've gotten to the time that you can't cast your pearls before the swine. They're just going to get trampled down. You can't cast your knowledge in front of for people that don't really care about knowledge, because all you're going to be doing is, being a fool. Isn't that what Proverbs says? Don't get in an argument with a fool, because in the end, you'll be looking as foolish as that fool.
Causing unnecessary strife.
Exactly. Hey, I don't need to talk to you anymore. You be on your way, I'll be on mine. And then they still try to chase you. Because why? Because they don't know any better. I mean, we laugh, but that's literally the outcome. Well,
I'm
where are you
laughing
going?
because it's actually true.
Yeah.
Wherever we go, they go. It's like they can't leave us alone. They'll say, oh, go away. And then you're like, okay, fine, we're going to go do what we're doing. And there they are. There was an Asian sister that said this on somebody's platform. She said, the problem isn't that you wanted us to go away, but what you didn't want and didn't expect, what you wanted was for us to literally have our faces pressed up against the window, looking in at you, begging and wishing that you would let us in. That's what you expected. What you didn't expect was for us to go away and actually make something of ourselves and do what we're doing. And now you want to come into those spaces and try to take over. I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
it's a difference, because why? Because see, they were allowed to do that to us. They had been allowed to do that to us. We were given over to our oppressors, right? That's exactly what Obadiah says. That's exactly what Isaiah says. We were given over to our oppressors. So now the problem is, when you think that you can do the same type of game plan, that and use the same type of playbook, for the other nations. The other nations were telling them, hey, look, we're not black. I'm sorry. We're not those folks. This is a different nation now. We're different people. Oh, aren't you all colored? Aren't you all the same? No, we're not. And that here in line was the problem that they had with vanity in the form of white supremacy. And now that's starting to catch up with them. Vanity is literally just white supremacy. We all have vanity. There's a vanity in all of us. That's why the Most High says, look, we have to purge on out those things that make us unclean. We got to purge on out those things. Our vanity is literally what brought us into captivity. It's a hard thing to purge out. But now you understand why we got to purge it on out, because why? You're seeing their vanity doing them in. I didn't know how it was going to go, but all we got to do is just stay out their way. They're doing a great job destroying themselves. I don't know if you all had ever noticed that. They're doing a great job. Hey, let them print the money into oblivion, okay? Let them think that they're doing all this and doing all that, and then, well, this thing failed and that thing failed. They can't get it together.
That's why I say let them talk. Let them talk. Let them do what they're doing. We just sit there and eat our popcorn and just watch them. Why do you think I said stay away from them? Things are going to get crazy. I wasn't just saying that just to be funny. I said it because, look, we know them better than they know themselves. We do. And not only that, we have grandparents who were alive, who were kids when, when their grandparents were still enslaved, and they know a lot about them, and this is passed on to us. We know these people better than they know themselves. So when we feel that anxiousness that, okay, I need to leave the room, I need to go, listen to that. Better to err on the side of caution and just stay away, because a lot of them have this crazy look in their eyes.
Never look
We
them in the
all
eyes
seen it.
when I walk around my neighborhood. I
don't look them in the eyes.
I don't try to walk on the same side of the sidewalk. I know that sounds crazy. I just try to make my own way, and I always try to walk on the opposite side of where they're walking.
And it's so funny, isn't it, when you do that? They used to insist that you did that back in the day. Now that we're doing it off our
they
own
get mad. They're like,
they get mad. Like,
you're not appeasing me. You're not appeasing me.
Because they want that come together kumbaya. No. You don't want us to start singing kumbaya. Believe me, you don't want us to stay. You want a kumbaya moment with your entity, your whatever. We don't want that. It didn't work out for us. You don't want us near you, and we really don't want you near us. And I'm talking to those who are wicked. We already know that.
You realize that they literally are like prepping and buying, the most secluded homes and the most secluded neck of the woods because they don't even want to be around each other. I'm just being honest.
That is true.
That's crazy.
Did you see did you see the fires that took out all those cows, like a few weeks ago? Like in Texas, like that's gone. All you preppers, that's gone. A brother put that out there and I'm like, wow. Okay.
But that was the same thing. That was the same thing. Like what, two or 3 years ago, they had a major drought.
Yes.
In like southwest Kansas and Oklahoma. And that is your cattle farm. That is your cattle territory.
Karis, do you not notice they don't realize? But when I said curse reverse, All these curses that were on you will be on those, on your enemies and those that hated you and persecuted you. Everywhere we went, what happened? Those curses came with us. Everywhere they go, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna prep. I'm gonna fall back to my secluded place, and then guess what? You know, the Most High is like, okay, I'm just gonna rain hell down on you, or I'm just gonna heat up that section of the earth for a little bit, you know. And what is it? All that the things that you've been stacking up and storing and prepping for how many years? Some of them going 10, 20, 30 years. It amounts to nothing, because then you have nothing. It's all burnt away, gone. I ain't playing. It's ain't a game.
Mm.
I don't think they realize who and what they're dealing with. They think they're dealing with Jesus. Nah, you ain't dealing with Jesus. You're dealing with Yahudah. You're dealing with the Most High. Whoever you think you were worshiping certainly was not the Most High. And that's going to be a hard truth for them to swallow. That, I think, will be the final nail in the coffin. That's going to be the hardest thing. I literally watched, I was going to send it to you, but I thought you were still sleeping, so I just left you. But I was going to send you a video of, there was a Gentile woman, I think it was on there was another sister from the continent. Her name's called Belinda Stranard. And she had this Gentile woman crying in the streets, like walking down the road, talking about how Jesus is leaving her. I don't know if anybody else has seen that in the comments, in the chat. She's talking about Jesus is leaving her. He's running away from her, and she's crying and everything. Then her friend on a motorbike appears, and it's like, oh hey, how you doing and everything. Then he goes away and he's like, Jesus is leaving me. I'm like, what? You know, but she can feel it. Don't look at it and think, okay, yeah, whatever. The acting is acting, yeah, but she don't think what she's saying isn't true and that she doesn't feel it. This is something that they're feeling. This Jesus that they think is what they think has left the building, because Jesus, the spirit that, and I'm not talking about Yeshua, I'm talking about Jesus, right? He has left, because he knows what's coming to them, and he don't want none of it either. So that entity has left them. So when they pray, just like when we prayed, when we was in the height of our captivity, we felt so alone. That's how they feel. The worst feeling to ever have is hopelessness. And I think they're starting to get a sense of that feeling. It's a horrible feeling. We all know it, but they're going to know it. And the worst thing about it, they will have no comfort. We had a small level of mercy mixed in with that. They're not having that. This is it, straight wrath.
No chaser.
Hallelujah. All right. Well, let's get our final comments on in here. So I got to get some things wrapped on up. Before we get the final comments on in here, family, I have been invited on the behalf of Quest Unite Africa to go to Ouagadougou, which is Burkina Faso, with Her Excellency Dr. Erikana Shimbori Kwao, to represent QTUA on behalf of the ADDI trip to Burkina Faso. And that will happen early next month. I need your help getting there. I need your help, family, to represent Quest to Unite Africa. I believe it's a trip that's worthwhile for our people. And this is an opportunity of a lifetime. to meet with officials over on the continent. So, family, I'm putting out that call. We are about, I'm going to say about maybe 2,000 of it's been raised out of the 10,000 needed. We have about 2,000 raised, and we need your help to get that other 8,000 to meet that $10,000 goal. Talk about an opportunity for investing, especially in a country that is one of the fastest growing African economies, fastest growing country in terms of its economy on the African continent. And yes, family, they do want the African diaspora there. So definitely need you all's help. I appreciate it. I thank the Most High for those that have it in their hearts to give, that we can make this goal. Hallelujah. And I know that we will make this goal. Because we serve an awesome Elohim. We truly do. So if you'd like to give to that effort, please give to questtouniteafrica.org. That's the only way that we can count it, questtouniteafrica.org. If you want to do it via Cash App or Give WP app, allows for your Cash App card to be placed in there to be donated. This is a worthwhile venture. And folks ask, well, why can't we do anything? Why can't we come together? Well, there's an opportunity to come together. It was always going to take resources to come together. That's how the system was made. We didn't design or set up the system, but we know how to operate in it. So, final thoughts. Go ahead. One of y'all, go ahead.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say, yeah, family, please donate. You saw, well, we saw how we came together for the Invest in Africa seminar and how we were able to obtain someone of the status of Dr. Eric Hanna, who has been doing this work for years and sees our mission and how, you know, that's nothing to take lightly. That's something that we all came together and worked together. And she saw it in her heart that we were serious on this mission. And she believes that the diaspora is the key to helping our brothers and sisters. And that's nothing to take lightly. And on that, I'll say I put the link in the chat. So please donate. And you will be blessed as we all are blessed, and we're all making ways through the Most High, and this is his organization. And on that note, I will get off and watch Three Body Problem as much as I can today and finish it up. And yeah, shalom and Yah bless.
All right, hallelujah. Thank you, Brother Garth. Sister Chantel.
Thank you for having me on, everybody. It's nice to join. We're living in exciting times. One thing we can't complain about is boredom. There is so much going on. It's like I can't even I can't even catch my breath. And for the most part, there is a lot of things that are happening that has left me, would you believe it, speechless. So there is a lot going on, and it's like I said, people are going to start getting crazier, including our own people. We're already seeing that, but the Most High is the Most High, and His word reigns. We know who we are based on His word. So no matter what, anything that happens, it's His word and His Holy Spirit that should govern us and guide us. I don't care what or who wants to say whatever. They can put out as many TV shows, as many films as they want, saying whatever. If it doesn't go in line with what the scripture says, I couldn't care less. Not my business. That's them and their wishful thinking, but we are seeing their power becoming depleted. They're losing their power. They're losing their standing on the world stage. And I say personally, for me, that's a hallelujah, because we cannot thrive or even survive with their continual power, with them marching on. If they was to ever come back, as they want to say, build back better, make America great again, and all of the other slogans that they want to come out with to try and, give themselves some sort of boost. If that was to ever be fulfilled, the first people they will come for would be us. And for me, if they was to, it would show them that their power is absolute and there's nobody to challenge them. Because if nobody is stopping them, especially in the courts, like, we see how they went, how the whole world is looking towards that part of the world and is completely, in shock and horror, as they should be. But it's like, where is the same kind of attention that our people that should have, that after we're going through what we're going through and still continue to go through? And it's like, it's not there. But they like this one because the people are so many shades lighter than us, and it makes them feel good. It makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside, because they can shout from the rooftops that this is an injustice, this is evil, while they ignore the evils that is plaguing our home and us in theirs. And it's easier for them to do that simply because of the fact that their mark has been left scorched on our land, So it's like, it's all well and good, everybody wanting to do this, that, and the other, but it's like, what about us, And yeah, I agree, make Africa great again, and that's what this is about. And I couldn't be more happier than to say that. And I will stand boldly and say it to any one of them in their faces, make Africa great again. Because while you scream, make America great again, all we need to do is just shut off the borders, and we'll come back and see where you are in 50 to 100 years. And if you have no access to us whatsoever, we was to cut off trade. If Africa and all its surrounding islands, including Madagascar, was to cut off any form of trade, where do you think you would be? I am like with everybody else. I've had it. We are done. We want to go home. Father, we want to go home. We have served out our time, and we have seen how these people are. And we have woken up to realize that we are in the middle of hatred and abuse. And we just want to go home now. So for me, and for those who think like all the rest of us, it's time for us to prepare, So that's what I hold on to. And I suggest that we do that. You will do the same. Just keep praying and asking the Most High, and say, and not only that, just pray for those who are still in ignorance. Even the wicked amongst our people, they're still our brothers and sisters, regardless. You want to slap them because they're the reason why we're still here. But at the end of the day, they're still our people. For good or bad, they're still our people. Family's family, and that's how I feel. As we all say, be one. They have theirs, we have ours. So, just saying that. But anyway, Karis, I'll let you go because, I'll talk forever.
All right. Thank you, Sister Chantel. All right. Thank you, family. I appreciate you all supporting these efforts, these endeavors. It is a lot. We're taking on a lot for these things to occur, for these things to happen. Continue to keep me up in your prayers and my family. Continue to support Quest Unite Africa, because there's a lot of endeavors that's going on. That's what I was on the phone with earlier this morning with Brother Mike. We're doing some major muscle movements. We are getting ready to release the Zoom recording for those that had missed the entirety of the recording due to either technological issues, or you had paid and you missed out because of either sleeping in or things of that nature. We're getting that together. There's some legal language that we're working on that we had just got cleared. So there are legal hurdles to this. So please be patient with us. We should have that available within the next 2 weeks. We're saying by the latest, April 15th, by the latest. So praying that it won't be that long, but please give us that amount of time. Again, this is our inaugural Invest in Africa seminar. That was our inaugural one. So we, we're still doing our after action reports, our lessons learned, things of that nature. So the next time we have this event, it'll go much, much smoother with more participation. It was already an awesome event to begin with, but all we want to do is just make it better and better. So with that said, family, I got to get up on out of here. I got to get some things done. If you'd like to volunteer, please ensure that you are going through our portal. We are having our folks come through, standing by. If it takes a little bit of time, please remember we just got through with this Invest in Africa seminar. I know folks are eager to volunteer, to provide their services, but again, look, it's a volunteer. That is this organization. So please be patient with us. Not that we're not trying to reach on out. We are. It just, folks are still working, folks on the schedule. So please be patient. But with that said, family, I got to get up on out of here, because we're going to start to see how this reprogramming is going to start to affect folks as they're getting more and more towards the eclipse. We will be providing that. It was an Invest in Africa seminar, like little knowledge book, seminar book. So you all have access to the information that was provided. That should be going out, I believe, by the end of the day. That should have So I want to make sure that that was going. We were working on some finishing touches with some of the formatting. So yes, that is a due out that we're working on. That should be by the end of the day. So again, please be lenient with us because we don't have paid staff that's, that's dedicated to having 5 or 6 people, working these things. that's that's not happening. Probably not going to happen for quite some time, but just continue to be patient with us. But with that said, family, I'll be back on tomorrow. With that, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Container packed with supplies that need to make their way to families in Africa, like yesterday. You said this is a 53-foot trailer? This trailer is packed with medical supplies destined to the motherland. We need to help get these out of here. Are you tired of fighting with your wife or with your husband? Have you each retreated into your separate corners, not even trying to speak to each other anymore? Are your children witnessing a toxic marriage rather than a purposeful partnership? Hi, I am Shar, and I am an attorney mediator and experienced in helping families for the past 13 years navigate really challenging times. And I am here to help you. Husbands, hear your wives. Wives, hear your husbands. So together we can find the truth why your family is struggling and what it will take to get unstuck from cycles of misunderstanding and patterns of frustration. Join me live on YouTube on this Monday night at 6:00 p.m. Eastern as I conduct a live mediation. And if you would like to be heard, if you would like to hash out a misunderstanding with your spouse here on our live, Sign up now to apply for your free opportunity to mediate, and I look forward to seeing you Monday night.